Good evening. I'm Dr. Patty Erjavic, president of Pueblo Community College, and it's my privilege to welcome you to the Pueblo campus and for you to have an opportunity to listen to our candidates and learn. After all, we are a teaching and learning institution, and so what better place to come? We are proud to provide this venue, and with the help of the Center for New Media, this is being broadcast on one of our public access channels. And of course, it's always a pleasure to partner with the Pueblo Chieftain and bring you this opportunity to listen and learn. So I know that you're all anxious for us to get started, and it is my privilege to turn this over to Mr. Steve Henson from the Pueblo Chieftain, who will be your moderator for this evening's events. We'll have this event, and then at 7 o'clock we'll have another debate. And again, I hope you appreciate the opportunity to come listen and learn about our local candidates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Erjavic. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's election forum for the State House District 47 seat. My name is Steve Henson. I'm the managing editor at the Pueblo Chieftain, one of the sponsors of tonight's event, along with Pueblo Community College's Center for New Media and the 2020, the Governance Task Force of the 2020 Commission. We have a few rules to go over this evening. And just to repeat them, we've had them in the newspaper, but you can't have any signs in the room. You can't be waving signs. If you have any, sit on them, take them outside, but you can't wave them. You can't wave T-shirts, can't stand up and scream. We're going to try to have a really nice forum between our two candidates. We've seen some, we saw an interesting debate the other night, and our rules are going to be a little bit different. The candidates are not going to interrupt each other, and we want to hear what they have to say. You can certainly support your candidates, clap for them, hoop and holler, do whatever, but would ask you, please don't boo and hiss and roll, make commotion and disrupt the other candidate. It's a hard thing to run for public office, particularly be citizen legislators as we are at this level. And so let's respect that they have been willing to run for office and let them state their views uninterrupted. Okay, here's the format. Each candidate will have 4 minutes to introduce themselves to you. After that, we'll ask a series of questions, and I will pose those questions. Nobody has seen those questions except me, and we do not accept questions from the audience. Early on, we had some really bad experiences with that, and you can imagine that. And in the environment we're in these days, we don't want to take a chance by ambushing a candidate. So we'll go through a series of questions, and each candidate will have a couple of minutes to respond, and then we'll have rebuttals for 1 minute after that for each candidate. We get to about 50 minutes, about 10 minutes until 7. We'll wrap it up as each candidate will have an opportunity for closing remarks. And then I'm sure they'll be available afterwards if you have a question that we don't ask. Given that, Jason Munoz won the coin toss. He elected to conclude the event tonight. So our opening remarks will begin with Clarice Navarro.
Thank you, Mr. Henson. And thank all of you for being here tonight. I'm State Representative Clarice Navarro, and I proudly represent House District 47, which includes Otero, Fremont, and Pueblo counties. I want to take this opportunity to thank the Pueblo Chieftain for hosting us this evening. This is always an informative event, and what a great opportunity for you here and for you at home to be engaged before ballots go out. I'm especially thankful to the people of House District 47 for their continued support. I'd like to thank my family and my friends who have been by my side every step of the way. I'm humbled and I'm honored to do good work on behalf of the people that have elected me to be your state representative. Throughout my time in the Colorado State Legislature, I have passed over 40 pieces of bipartisan legislation that has benefited our veterans, our kids, our farmers, our ranchers, our small businesses, and mental health. And I fought for transparency in our government. There's a lot more that could be said, but I wanted you to know, and you at home to know, that I work hard each and every day to be your state representative. It's an honor to be here tonight, and I look forward to sharing with you my voting record. It's something that I'm very proud of. I operate off of core values like hard work, integrity, and smaller government. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to serving you for another 2 years.
And we'll now have opening remarks from Jason Munoz.
Thank you. Good evening, Southern Colorado. I am Jason Munoz, and I am a Democrat running for House District 47. I want to say thank you to Pueblo Community College, the Pueblo Chieftain, Steve Henson, and you, the viewers at home, for the opportunity to take part in tonight's State House District 47 Candidates Forum. I'd also like to thank my opponent for being here to discuss the issues facing our community. I'd like to thank those that have made my candidacy possible. First and foremost, thanks be to God. Without you, nothing is possible. I have to give a big thank you to my amazing partner, Jessica, for all you do for me and our family. You've been supportive of me in this race, and I honestly couldn't do it without you. Also, thank you for being a loving and caring mother to our joyful son, Gabriel. He is the greatest thing to happen to me, and I love you both. And another special thank you to my grandparents, both on my dad's side who have passed, and my mom's side, Fred and Rosemary De Leon, who are watching on TV tonight. Your stories, struggles, and perseverance have been an inspiration to me, and I hope to live by your examples. I'm excited to participate in tonight's important discussion on the issues our district faces, and I hope to earn your vote. I'm running for this office because we need a representative who will be better at finding solutions to the issues we face today, rather than just saying no. We need a representative who will be better at planning ahead for the future of our community. We need a representative who will take positive action for the people of the district, not the Denver lobbyists or party leaders, and certainly not Donald Trump. I believe the communities in 47 and all of Southern Colorado will have a better and stronger economy when we work together as good neighbors and not political opponents. Then we will achieve goals like ensuring our water is clean, safe, and protected, providing a quality education for our children, increasing access and affordability to quality health care, improving our roads and infrastructure, and protecting our way of life. Now listen, I'm not your typical politician. I'm the son of a blue-collar family who's worked hard to overcome my challenges in life, and trust me, I've had my fair share of challenges. I was born in Pueblo and raised on the east side. When I was growing up, my dad was a steel worker at the CF&I, and my mom worked in retail at the Pueblo Mall. Like so many local families, they worked hard, paycheck to paycheck, to provide for my sister and I, and without their love and dedication, I don't know where I'd be today. So I thank them. Thank you. I went to public schools and graduated from Central High School. When I was 16, I started working at Dewdrop Inn as a pizza runner. It was a cool job, but I worked it because I enjoyed helping customers and solving problems. Today, at the Shamrock Brewing Company, I'm still doing the same thing. So for 20 years now, I've been serving the public. After graduation and about a year of college, I applied for and was accepted to the Walt Disney World College Internship Program. My experiences working in theme parks left a positive impression on me because I learned that there is a big world out there and I wanted to improve my piece of it. So I came back to Pueblo to finish college. But when the financial crisis hit and I lost my job, I found myself without a way to pay for school, a situation so many of us here face. I was a semester and a half away from graduating when I attended trade school, which unfortunately isn't a priority in the legislature, and I intend to change that. This trade school offered me free tuition to learn how to deal blackjack and craps in Colorado's gaming towns. After completing the program, I was hired by a Cripple Creek casino to work the tables. The road was long, but I was grateful to be self-sufficient once again, which is a desire most of us share. Just last year, I went back to school for the last time. It took me 17 years to get a college degree, but absolutely worth it in the end. And now, with a family of my own to support and provide for, I'm ready to take positive action for Southern Colorado, and I hope I earn your vote.
We'll now begin the question and answer portion of the program. And Clarice, you'll handle the first question. What do you consider to be the most significant bills that you have sponsored during your time in the Colorado House?
Thank you for the question. All the bills that I have been able to pass and be part of are vitally important to not only House District 47, but through our state. I have been able to pass bills that have helped our veterans and helped their families' lives. I have worked on bills for education, for small business, and for our farmers and ranchers. I have a great record for protecting Colorado's water and keeping it here in Colorado. That is something that is, thank you. That's something that's very important to the Arkansas Valley. And I feel that having those opportunities, you have to be very careful and make sure that they will help Otero, Fremont, and Pueblo alike. We have a very diverse House district, and you have to be very thoughtful in the bills that you run to make sure that everyone will benefit from those bills.
Jason, the question's a little bit different for you. Do you believe that Representative Navarro has been a successful legislator, and what type of bills would you want to sponsor if elected?
Thank you, Steve. The answer to the first question is no. I'm sure Representative Navarro is a very nice lady, but her efforts in the legislature, or lack thereof, show. Now, when I'm elected, I absolutely will have a number of bills that I'd like to run. Most importantly, I'd like to find funding for education, and not just funding, but equal funding for our school districts here in 47 and across the board. I'd also like to see some bills and work get done to improve our infrastructure, our transportation, and of course, keeping the water in the Arkansas River Valley Basin.
Clarice, rebuttal.
Well, again, I have been successful in passing over 40 pieces of legislation that has impacted the lives of House District 47. I have passed legislation that has reduced rigorous regulation on our small businesses. I have passed legislation that has lessened the taxes on the taxpayers. Thank you.
Rebuttal.
I just want to make one note. Representative Navarro suggested that she's been an advocate for water, and I just wanted to know where she was on the Rain Barrel bill, which had bipartisan support, and even the Farm Bureau was in support of that. So I'm not sure where she was on that one.
So are you not sure, or are you asking me how I voted?
I don't know. How did? Yeah, where were you?
So you haven't researched my record?
Well, did you want to respond beyond that?
I'm fine.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Jason, you'll answer this one first. We all know that our local public schools are underfunded. We are among the lowest funded districts in the state of Colorado, and one district faces the possibility of a state takeover. What can be done to persuade the northern legislators to better support schools in this part of the state?
Well, it definitely takes a representative who's willing to listen to the other side and find compromise to find reasonable solutions to these problems. As I mentioned, there's there's a funding inequality that our school districts in this state have, and it's absolutely not fair that students in District 47, in Otero County, Pueblo, and Fremont counties are not receiving the same opportunities and funding that the students in Cherry Creek and Boulder are receiving. So as a representative, I will be a vocal advocate, and I will fight every day to see that we get our fair share of the pie here in Southern Colorado.
Clarice?
Thank you. And unfortunately, my opponent isn't aware that Colorado is funded its education at the highest that it's ever been. In order to help disparities, I think we have a difference of opinion on how we do that. But what we need to start with is the unfunded mandates. We have to start with less regulation. We need to allow our teachers to teach. And Common Core is an absolutely disaster. And how many more unnecessary tests do we need to push on our students? I would like to start there.
Okay. Jason?
Yes. If funding is so high in the state, why is our school districts failing here in Southern Colorado?
Okay. Rebuttal?
Are you asking me a question?
I posed the question. We're in a debate together. I was just wondering, if funding is so high, why is our school district failing?
The school districts have a spending problem and a priority issue. That is why.
Okay. Rebuttal?
Again, I think it takes a representative who is going to talk to teachers, talk to those who are in the trenches to find the best solutions so that teachers can teach to our students and offer them the best opportunities to succeed.
Clarice, one more time.
Well, thank you. And being an educator, I've been in the classroom. I know how this works. I know how funding works, and I know what it's like to work there with the students and with the parents.
Okay, our third question, Clarice will answer it first, and it's a similar question. The state fairgrounds and buildings there are in desperate need of improvements and renovation. The state legislature continues to fund things like the Western Stock Show, but not some things in Southern Colorado. How do you persuade the rest of the state to support the fair?
This is a great topic, and this is something that I've been able to work with the Pueblo delegation. We all agree that if we are Republican or Democrat, that the state fair must stay in Pueblo. I have worked with the Pueblo delegation and other legislators on ways to find how we can fund it, how we can make it sustainable, and I've had a very intriguing meeting with Sarah Cummings, who is the new director, and her ideas are phenomenal, and I can't wait to get started working with her on those.
Okay. Jason?
Yes. I think it's important that in the legislature, the representative from 47 expresses to the Denver delegation and those up north how important the state fair is to our community. For one, it's an economic developer. It is entrenched in our culture, heritage, and who we are. I will fight tooth and nail to keep the state fair in Pueblo. And just like I won't let Denver take our water, I won't let Denver take our state fair.
Clarice?
Well, as a state representative from Pueblo, I think I've done a fine job in keeping the state fair here.
I respectfully disagree.
We'll move on to our next question. Jason, this one goes to you first. Please. Let's let these two debate. For Jason, this is your question. What specific actions would you take if elected to protect Southern Colorado's water?
Well, Steve, it's no secret that water rights is a very complicated issue, but it is perhaps the most important issue our community faces in preparing for the future. At the legislature, I'm going to fight to keep our water clean, accessible to the farmers and ranchers who depend on it, and to keep it in the Arkansas River Basin. We have a unique and complex set of water laws in Colorado that have been good for our state. We still have issues with the Fountain Creek and others, but I will absolutely make this a priority when I'm the next representative from State House District 47.
Clarice?
Thank you. And as my record shows, I have fought for Colorado water to stay in Colorado. There have been times where I have voted against Republican legislators that have come north and have tried to take our water in the Arkansas Valley. I will continue to keep that fight up. I do not have a problem fighting for House District 47 and the best interests of Colorado.
Jason, rebuttal?
No, thank you.
No? Anything else, Clarice, on that? Okay. Clarice, you'll answer this question first. Do you believe the legislature needs to work on improving state laws regarding marijuana? What exactly do you believe needs to happen?
That's an excellent question. Since my time in the legislature, this is an issue that we fight every year. I have been a co-sponsor on several bills that protect our children against marijuana and the use and abuse, and I will continue that. And every year that we come back, we find problems that have come about that we didn't think about the prior year. And as time goes on, we continue to visit, not only with our communities, but with the industry. And I will continue to do that.
Okay. Jason?
Steve, could you please repeat the question?
Sure. Do you believe the legislature needs to work on improving state laws regarding marijuana? And what exactly do you believe needs to happen?
Well, I think that the rest of the state can look at Pueblo and our high regulations and take a note from us here. I think we've done a really good job at regulating the industry, which is probably one of the reasons why we're flushing out so many of these illegal grow operations. So I think that the state could definitely take a cue from Pueblo and our regulations.
Clarice, or rebuttal?
I'm good.
Okay. Anything else, Jason?
No, thank you.
Okay. Jason, this question will be posed to you first. We all know that public safety is of great concern in Pueblo and southern Colorado. What can be done at the state level to help us fight crime, especially crimes of violence?
Sure. This is an issue that speaks to all of us probably very directly. You know, there's no single answer that we can take in curbing this problem. Clearly, it's going to take a multiple-fronted approach from all levels of government, all levels of social programs. Now, clearly, I think that giving our young people the opportunities to succeed in life will allow them to find ways away from violence and crime. That's definitely one way to start. So at the legislature, I will work tirelessly. I will talk to experts to find the best solutions that we can pass in the legislature to help curb this severe problem that we're having.
Clarice?
Thank you. I've been endorsed by the Colorado Federal Order of Police. I meet with them and I meet within the communities. I meet with the sheriffs and I meet with those on the ground and back here who are keeping us safe. That is the most direct contact that you can have, is asking those that are serving and protecting. I will continue to keep those visits up. I will keep visiting and finding new answers and new solutions. We need to let them protect us and let them do their job. And I am so grateful for all of those who do that. So thank you.
Jason?
Absolutely, it's important to be talking with law enforcement on how to help solve this problem. But that cannot be the only way we do it. We have to talk to our neighbors. We have to talk to the facilities that see these crime rates come in, to see the horrible things that happen day to day in our neighborhoods. I grew up on the east side. I had a loving family who supported and helped me, but that's not the case for so many children there. So many children there, they don't have enough money to be able to eat lunch. The point is that law enforcement is one portion of the equation, and we have to look at all angles possible.
Thank you. I agree. I believe that personal accountability is definitely an issue that we need to work on. And again, we have to be supportive of those that are protecting us. Thank you.
Okay, Clarice, you'll answer this one first. It's been pretty evident in this election that the citizenry is pretty tired of gridlock and partisan party politics. We've seen that, though, here in Colorado, too. What will you do in the next session to work to overcome that?
Well, this is a wonderful question. Thank you so much, because I demonstrate this each and every year. There are so many times that I have voted against my own leadership because it is right, what the right thing to do for my district. I represent a very diverse district, and not every Republican agrees with how we spend money. And I'm okay with being that different voice, and I'm also okay with being the only Republican that sides with Democrats when it's an important issue.
Jason?
Thank you, Steve. Please repeat the question.
Sure. One thing we've noticed in this election cycle is that people are sick and tired of gridlock and partisan party politics. We've experienced some of that at the state legislature. How would you work to overcome that?
Well, first of all, as I mentioned in my announcement speech, I am running as a Democrat, but that does not mean that I will work with all parties to find the best solutions to the issues that we face here in House District 47. Now, my opponent likes to say that she has gone against party leadership, and she accused me of not doing research on her. Well, my research shows that in 41 votes where there was bipartisan votes, she's voted party line 39 times. So if voting 2 times against party leadership is going against that and ending gridlock, I would disagree.
Thank you. And I'd like to remind everyone that over a course of 1 year, we vote on over 800 pieces of legislation. So thank you. I'm just excited to the opportunity to be your next representative so that I can show you what true bipartisan representative looks like.
Hey, Clarice, you'll handle this one. And speaking of legislation, let's suppose that you knew that you could pass a single piece of legislation, one that you know that would go all the way through. What would that legislation be?
That legislation would be less regulations, less mandates, and less taxes.
Okay, Jason?
Yeah, I would introduce legislation and support legislation that ensures that Southern Colorado gets their fair share of the pie. When it comes with funding, when it comes with education, transportation, agriculture, you name it. I don't think we're getting our fair share of what we should be getting in this state. We pay our taxes. Why do the richer communities up north tend to get all of their get the wealth of that funding back?
Clarice, anything else?
Again, I would stick with less tax, less government interference, and less regulation.
Okay, Jason, you'll answer this one first, and it's kind of a follow-up to what we've been talking about, this question of deregulation and too many mandates. Do you think that that's the case, and if so, what exact mandates would you want to eliminate besides Common Core?
You know, I would take a long, hard look at each one. When it comes to mandates, I would have a mandate supporting working families. There's too many struggling families. There's too many at the top, at the 1%, who are just gaining all of this wealth, and it's not trickling down. So I would take a mandate in supporting working families.
Anything else? The question was, if We've talked a bit about these various mandates and so forth. We've talked about Common Core. What other types of overregulation do you think we need to eliminate?
We have a tremendous amount of overregulation in every industry, in business, in small business, locally, federally, at the state level. We have to be able to reinvest into our own communities. And the only way that we can reinvest into our own communities is fewer taxes.
Okay. Jason, anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay. Clarice, let's follow that line of questioning. If we cut taxes, what cuts would you make in the state budget to make that work?
Wow, this is a great question. There are so many extra lines of that budget that it takes our joint budget committee from November until March to thumb through that line by line. And I am proud to tell you that I have not once voted for a governor's budget. So there are so many changes in those, I don't know where to start, but I do know that when I make those changes, it's everyone here and everyone at home that will see that money back in your pockets.
Jason?
This was the rebuttal? No, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. We are flying through these questions. Let's see. Jason, you'll answer this one first. We're here at PCC. Both PCC and Colorado State University in Pueblo has just really had to battle for funding from the state. It's kind of the same old story that the northern schools get a lot more funding and support than we do. How do you overcome that if you were elected?
It takes working. It takes every day in the legislature. You're going and you're talking to other representatives to build coalitions, to pass legislation that is good for schools, that's good for the district.
Okay. Clarice?
This is a great opportunity and a great subject where we can work across the state with other legislators to really come together to a foundation where our higher education will benefit. We have seen extraordinary changes in technology, and I think that is something wonderful. When I was teaching at the high school, I went back into a classroom where I was teaching out of a book that I actually learned out of 20 years later. So I'm so excited for our next generation coming up and all the opportunities that are here. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you and all of the presidents at the universities and the community colleges.
Okay. Jason, any rebuttal?
Well, you know, as I mentioned in my opening, it took me a long time to go through college, and I know firsthand how difficult it is to not only pay for schooling, but to go through the work of getting that higher education. And you know, my personal story would attest to the notion that it should not be that difficult for students to pay for college, and it should not be that difficult for students to pay off the loans that we get for college. And at the legislature, I would make that a priority as well, to make funding more available for all students who want to go to college. They should get to go to college, and I will find ways to help bring those costs down, especially in their interest rates.
Clarice?
He brings up a very good point. I graduated with my college degree in 2003. I just now have paid off my college loans this year. Funding is hard to come by, but something that I'm instilling in my children, and my youngest daughter, she participated in 4-H this year. She sold a steer. I immediately walked her down to the bank, and she opened up a savings account. Now, for the next several years, as she continues on and my oldest daughter continue on, I want them to learn the value of saving money and how important it is to pay for your college education. And so I just want to say thank you and congratulations to all of you that are doing it and doing the hard work. It takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication, and a lot of money. I talk to dentists, I talk to physicians who struggle trying to pay their own student loans. I talk to lawyers who are still struggling to pay for their education. So this is an issue that we have to visit, and I look forward to working on that.
Steve, just real quick. That's a nice story, but not every student has the opportunity to sell a steer to open a bank account to save for college.
Clarice?
As a responsible parent, and as a parent who is engaged, I will absolutely make sure that every opportunity is available to my child.
And when I'm elected, I will make those same opportunities to my son and all of our children.
Last rebuttal, Clarice, if you have one. Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay, all right. This may seem like an obvious question, since both of you are obviously here representing one of the two major parties, but I'd like you to answer who you support in the presidential race, and more importantly, why. Clarice?
This is a very easy question, and thank you for bringing this up. I proudly support the Republican nominee for President of the United States. There is absolutely no reason why I would support Hillary Clinton. She left Americans to die in Benghazi, and one of those men was from Otero County.
Okay. Jason?
Thank you, Steve. You know, it's no secret. I'm a Democrat. My opponent is a Republican. I'm a little surprised that she is so vigorously supporting this person when even former Republican presidents do not endorse him because he is unfit to serve as the highest office in the land.
Clarice?
So who are you supporting?
It's no secret that I'm supporting the Democratic nominee, just like you're supporting the Republican nominee. At least.
I'd like to stay on this question just for another minute. The second part of that was, and we got one response, is why? Why are you supporting that person other than that's a person from your party?
Am I first?
Yes, Clarice, I'm sorry.
Thank you. My presidential nominee has the business experience that we need to turn this country around. My presidential nominee asked me how we can better serve Colorado. And most importantly, what's important in Southern Colorado. That speaks volumes when someone is that involved and that engaged to take the minute and ask the questions.
Jason?
Well, I would love to go on the attack here. I'll just talk about why I'm voting for Hillary Clinton. She is the most experienced, knowledgeable candidate that we have. There has never been a more qualified person than her.
Rebuttal? Okay. We're down to the last of our questions, and Jason, you'll answer this one first. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to a race between two people. And so why should voters select you and not your opponent?
I hope that I earn the voters' support because I am a man who comes from this area. I bleed Southern Colorado, and I want to take the responsibility of being your representative in the State House of Representatives. I will be accessible to my constituents. I will put my constituents first in all decisions I'm making at the Capitol. And I believe in the potential that this district and this region has, and I want to go to Denver and fight for that potential.
Okay, Clarice?
Thank you. As most of you know, I was born and raised in Los Animas, Colorado. My family owned a restaurant in Rocky Ford, Colorado. I spent many summers and many weekends working there. I am engaged in this community from La Junta, Colorado, to Penrose, to Fremont. I have lived it, I know it, and everything that I work for is for them. I will continue my work. I will continue my work on less regulation, less mandates, less testing for our students, and less taxes. There is nothing more important than getting our people back to work and reinvesting into our communities.
Jason?
No, thank you, Steve.
Okay. Anything else, Clarice?
I just want to make a strong comment and make sure that everybody is clear where I stand. I believe in smaller government. Government gets in the way. The only way to be successful is to reinvest in your community. And how do you do that? Fewer taxes. Thank you.
Okay. Jason? No.
My opponent talks about smaller government and reinvesting in her community. I'm just curious, if Donald Trump wins and my opponent wins, is she going to help Donald Trump expand government to deport all of the people that he talks about? And if so, how is that investing in the community?
Clarice?
Unfortunately, my opponent isn't aware that we have seasonal and migrant workers in our district. I have been in meetings in Manzanola for many, many months, listening to their concerns. I have voiced my concerns. I have discussed this issue specifically, and I don't believe that deporting 11 million people is even possible.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the closing remarks now. You may recall that Jason won the coin toss. He elected to conclude tonight's event, so we'll begin with closing remarks from Clarice Navarro.
Thank you. And thank you again to the Pueblo Chieftain, everyone here and everyone watching. A healthy exchange of ideas on the issues that we face, they're important, and I'm glad that I was here to discuss those with you. I'm always happy to discuss my solid conservative record. As an elected official, it's important to answer those questions, answer those who have elected us. I'll remain accessible and accountable to you, House District 47. I am honored to serve you, and there's more work to be done. Fremont, Otero, and Pueblo counties deserve a hardworking and accountable representative. I work hard each and every day to be that representative for you. I respectfully and humbly ask for your support, and I look forward to working with you and the communities for the next 2 years. Thank you.
And we'll now have closing remarks from Jason Munoz. Jason?
Thank you. Thank you again for this opportunity to talk about the issues. I'd like to start my closing statements by thanking my friends and supporters for your help, words of encouragement, and laughter. I'm grateful to walk through life knowing you are there walking with me. Now, when I'm elected, I will always put the interests of my constituents first when making decisions at the Capitol. I will always remember where I come from, and I won't care more about the lobbyists and insiders than the people who elected me to represent them. My opponent has done little to nothing in her 4 years in office to better Southern Colorado. She talks a good game, but let me ask you, what specifically has she done for us? What has she done that's brought a positive change to the district? Where are her priorities when she votes against the people of the district and in favor of outside special interests? How can her priorities align with the people of the district when she's hanging out with Donald Trump and tweeting photos with him?
Absolutely.
When elected, I will be a representative who will be a vocal advocate for the people of House District 47. I will be a representative who will be accessible to my constituents, and I will work for you. I will fight the powers in Denver because we deserve our fair share of the pie here in Southern Colorado, and I will fight to bring positive action for Southern Colorado. For as long as I can remember, every election year I hear people say that this is the most important election of our lives. This year, I don't think it has ever been more true. And the communities of Otero, Pueblo, and Fremont counties deserve better representation in protecting our way of life. It's no big secret that my opponent is a staunch Trump supporter. She aligns herself with outside interests and votes against the families in our district. Look at my opponent's record. She is a do-nothing representative who chooses outside political interests and photo ops with Trump over the very real needs of the people of Southern Colorado. I offer something very different. My family has been in Southern Colorado for 5 generations. I have deep roots and know exactly where I come from and won't forget it. Like many of you, I have a working class background and know the power of hard work. That's what I have to promise you. Hard work representing our families, showing up in the district to listen to constituents, protecting our unique way of life, and fighting for opportunities that create a brighter future for Southern Colorado and all of our children. This November, the choice is clear. Please vote Jason Munoz for House District 47.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight for our first forum. It will take us a little bit to set up for the second one, and you're certainly welcome to stay. Hope you do. And have a good evening. Good night.
Thank you.